Welcome everybody, it's the FWS World Series.
The largest action sports festival in the world.
16 parks, 30,000 kilometers traveled, 500 athletes. All leads to here.
Firing it out, double bar spin. Holy smokes.
Perfect. Absolutely amazing.
The energy from the fans is phenomenal.
The largest BMX contest in the world.
The Olympics. Who could potentially qualify for the 2020 games?
When the smoke clears, we are going to have a champion.
Konnichiwa from Japan and good morning. This is the FWS World Series 2019. I'm Ryan Meyer, this is Daryl Now, and we're about to get the action going for the UCI BMX Freestyle Park Women's Final. Action is about to go down behind us right now on the park course. Daryl, how are you doing?
Ryan, it's so exciting to be here. Not only do we have the most female competitors ever in the history of a FWS World Series, the energy in Hiroshima is so exciting because the big story is all about BMX being in the Olympics in Tokyo 2020.
You see here our beautiful course. We're in the downtown core of Hiroshima. It's absolutely beautiful former municipal district here. And the course actually, the Hurricane Parks has been able to come out and bring yet another new BMX park course out to Hiroshima. I just want to say a huge thank you and welcome opening arms from Japan for letting us come out here. The first stop, as you see, of our three-part World Series. We're going to be here. This is our third and final day, of course, in Japan, but then moving forward into Montpellier, France, where it started 2 decades ago, then finishing things off in Chengdu, China at the start of November. So if you guys are just tuning in, we had a jam-packed week of activity going on here in Hiroshima, but it's the third and final day, and that means finals all day long. Jam-packed show from a ton of different sports, but it's all about the women out there right now on that incredible park course. What are you expecting so far?
BMX real-time progression. We see it in the men's yesterday in our semifinals, but the women have just been pouring it on internationally for BMX. It's going to be a very exciting final.
As we're talking about pouring it on internationally with BMX, BMX has a huge year this year. It's 2019, and the 2020 Tokyo Games are coming up. What does that mean for freestyle?
So Ryan, just in a nutshell, breaking this down, there's going to be 18 riders who are going to qualify for the Olympics. 9 will be men, 9 will be women. Well, how do you get one of those spots, you might be saying? Of the 9, 1 will be going to the host country of Japan. 2 other those spots will be going to a rider that could qualify his country in the UCI Urban Cycling World Championships in November. Well, we have 6 other spots, and to get a position in the Olympics, we had a qualification period starting from November, going all the way up to May 2020. And since the riders are battling for their country to represent, the way it works is we take the 2 highest rider scores for their country, add them up, and that's where you get your nation's ranking. Of that, the nation that comes in the highest spot will get 2 positions, and then the countries that come from 2nd through 5th will each get 1 spot.
Yeah, so it's a very complicated process. Basically, break that down. Let's say that there's a company like British Cycling, a country like British Cycling or USA, which are having more than 2 riders in a discipline. That means that they're going to be able to qualify. But say we have coming from Santiago, Chile, Perez, and possibly there's only 1 competitor in that. That means that she's not going to be able to have all the points to classify for that first place eligibility with her country. She's then going to be able to possibly get a bonus at the Urban Games at the end of the year. Is that correct?
That is, and it's going to rely heavily on that 1 score at the end of our points duration at the UCI Urban Cycling World Championships, where the rider who doesn't have that counterpart to get that dual score, that's going to rely very heavily for them them and their country. So just in a nutshell, 9 riders will be in the Olympics, 8 countries will be represented, and there's all different events around the world where you rider can get points, but the FIS World Series is definitely the premier event for those points grab going towards the Olympics.
Moving forward, let's take a look back at what's going on today in this contest. How are we breaking down that format for this event?
Well, we had our qualifying over 40 riders of women, and we moved to the semifinal and now the final, where you can see the 12 riders are going to be broken up into 3 separate heats of 4 riders apiece. They are both going to have 2 runs on the clock with 60 seconds for those runs, and it's going to be the best run that counts out there. So 12 riders, 2 runs apiece, 60 seconds will be on the clock, and the best run that counts format. We cannot highlight that enough, that is the format. You're going to hear us talking about it throughout the competition because the riders are going to have the 2 options out on the course, and that's going to change their strategy and approach out there.
So you see, that's how the format is going on course. Now we have a beautiful shot, actually. There's that incredible satellite dish. And here is some of the difficulty, amplitude, originality, style. This is obviously the criteria that the judges are going to follow while the riders are going on that freestyle run. Yeah,
Ryan, this course is designed by Hurricane Park specifically for this event. So they want to see the tricks that the riders can bring out here and integrate into this one-of-a-design course. You can see a lot of box jumps out there, and it actually has a very linear design that could cause the rider to go back and forth, left to right, as opposed to last year's event, which actually did not even have a box jump at all. We're talking about the judges who are going to be a numeric value to the riders' runs out there. We have Dave Cleworth from the UK, Brian Kaczynski, Marcus Vilke, Dave Dilward, and Ruben Alcantara. Yes, I did say Ruben Alcantara. This is the first time we're having him judge with us here at the FIS World Series. He's a legend of BMX that definitely redefined the sport many times over. He's going to be putting the number, and the guy who's looking over all of it is our UCI technical delegate, Bart de Jong.
So a very experienced number of judges up there who have so much technical ability on and off the bike. It's great to see that the FIS and the UCI has brought them all in one spot, and we're able to have their incredible expert and opinion on all these spots. You see the riders are lined up on course right there. Let's take it down to our onside MC, I believe Catfish, and taking over this rider introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Female BMX World Finals. We are so excited to be here in the city of peace, Hiroshima, Japan, for the first stop of the FIS World Series. You guys have been incredibly hospitable to us, and we are about to see who is leaving Hiroshima on top of the podium. Would you like to meet your riders? Riding in the 12th position, doing it for USA Cycling, Angie Moreno.
Hi, Dad.
From the United States, rocking the USA jersey, USA Cycling's Nina Boo Trago. The #1 female BMX rider from New Zealand, Ellie Chu. Riding for Team Switzerland, Nikita Ducaro. Representing Santiago, Chile, doing it for Team Chile, Macarena Perez. Representing Florida, USA, Chelsea Wolf. Representing British Cycling, Charlotte Worthington. The #1 female BMX rider from Russia, Elizaveta Posadsky. The #1 Japanese female BMX rider, Minato Oike. your 2018 World Champion in the Youth Games gold medalist, Laura Lessman from Germany. 2018's UCI overall world champion, doing it for USA Cycling, Paris Menendez. And your number 1 qualifier, USA Cycling's Hana Roberts. 1 minute of warm-up, ladies.
Well, you've been talking about the largest qualification that we have for female BMX. Look at those names right there, and just a global field of high-hitting female athletes coming out for this first stop of the FIS World Series.
Yeah, Ryan, the one thing I want to note, even though we have 12 women riders in our final, this was huge. We had almost 40 riders competing in our qualifiers out here.
That's an incredible number.
It really is.
BMX.
We can't stress that enough, because only a few years ago, we had a final consisting of just 5, 6, 7 riders out there for the women's class. This is showing the impact that the Olympics is having on the sport, also with the UCI working hand in hand with the FIS World Series to breed and bred, as far as BMX goes, planting the seeds of the future out here. So it's a very exciting time, not only for the amount of riders that are getting involved in the sport on the global level, but also for the real progression. We're going to see out here just what the women have and how much it's been pushed from last year to this year.
You guys check us out on social media right there. Of course, we have the Facebook page, FIS.official, YouTube as well. I say go over to YouTube, check that one out. Of course, you guys follow a lot of other incredible blogs on YouTube, but FIS has some great action going. That's FISE. Hashtag all your posts today, FIS Hiroshima, to stay involved with all the action as well. Here's the list for our heat number 1. 4 incredible ladies about to tackle this huge course. And when I say huge, I really mean it. The jumps, the step-ups, the box jumps, this isn't something that you find in a normal park course anywhere in the world. This is stuff created solely by Hurricane Parks, with one of the largest contests going in the sport of action sports.
Now, Ryan, throughout the contest, we're going to definitely talk about the Olympics and some of the information, breaking it down, because there's definitely a lot out there to digest. You can log on to UCI.org to find out all the different specifics as far as points go, how it applies, and also the calendar of events coming up, where we have C1s, we have nationals, we have regional events, and then we also have our FIS World Series, which is the biggest points grab as far as the Olympics are concerned, which we have here today. So our 12 women in the finals not only are competing for themselves for points on the FIS World Series, where we'll find out who's the champion in Chengdu, China in November, but they're also competing for their country. And these points will go towards the Olympics. So it's almost a contest within a contest. And the cool part about the UCI working with the FIS is that we have the core spirit of BMX well represented, really strong out here. The FIS brings their aspect as far as making the events work, and the UCI brings all of the Olympic knowledge and also that structure, making sure that we have the highest form of competition out here and also judged fairly.
Angie Moreno is going to be your first athlete to drop today in the Japanese sun. It's beautiful weather out here. The crowds are starting to pile in. And Angie Moreno starts her first run and the first athlete dropping for the freestyle finals.
Team USA's Angie Moreno starting things off with that can air. Last year we saw Angie get a very, very respectable second place out here. The course definitely favored her style of riding, where it was a lot more flow with bowls and find pockets to just keep your momentum going. But Angie seems like she's adapting really well out here to this more linear course with box jumps by doing big extensions like that no-hander. Angie representing Team USA as she does a turnaround on the vert wall with a one-hander and a transfer with the toboggan. That's where you grab the seat and turn the handlebars 90 degrees.
Shredding around that satellite dish right there, gathering tons of speed and huge amplitude on that quarter pipe, gathering lots of distance on that spine as well, transferring to the side. We talked about that yesterday. You had asked me how you're actually getting so much height out of not traveling more than a half a foot forward. It's all about going distance sideways. Nice tabletop right there on the quarter pipe and dropping back into this box jump. ET air right there.
Yeah, Ryan, I would just want to expand a little bit on with what you said. We saw before Angie's run, she did that air on the quarter, and you just called it amplitude as far as being height out there. And that is something that separates Angie from the other riders. She definitely has that ability to go up, up, up on the quarter pipe. I believe that was a 5 or 6 foot air, which is huge out of that 8 foot quarter. Most of the other women don't have that bike control that Angie displays, and when she's able to put that on their course, that formula has been great for her. Like we said last year, she got a 2nd place finish here in Hiroshima, and I know she'd love to be up on the podium. That's the air you were talking about, the tabletop leaning it over right there. But you also saw the bike control and consistent with the toboggans, the tire grabs, and the one-handers flowing around the park.
74.25, solid score coming in for Angie Moreno. Nice to get that one out. So you see that USA on her jersey. You said she's doing it for USA Cycling. This is going to be a big opportunity for all these women. We have 5 females from the United States competing in our event series today. Another one competing is Nina Boo Trago. She's been doing this and pushing female BMX for decades.
Nina, one of my favorite riders out there, and I know all of our riders as well, as she has been such an inspiration for women around the world. She was one of the first pioneering women freestyle riders, actually the first ever to do a double peg grind on a handrail. And you see her putting those pegs to use right there. That wasn't a stall, that was actually a grind up on top of that vert wall. And Nina going across the channel. Big wall ride for Nina Boo Trago. Originally from New York, currently living down in Austin, Texas, where she rides for Terrible One. And she's actually on her own signature colorway bike right there, and a big wall ride, getting those style points with the tabletop and setting up perfectly for that double peg grind. So Nina right here trying to get tech with an air tabletop. I'm gonna charge back, bypassing the spine, and a 1 foot one-hander. Yes, and then doing the same trick, except switching up what limbs she winds up taking off right there. And that is the full 60 seconds for Nina Boo Trago. A nice double tire ride after the buzzer, and a big run for Nina.
Yeah, nice solid style coming out for Nina Boo Trago right there. Great to get things nice, clean, and consistent out of the bag on that first run.
So Ryan, we actually saw our first 2 athletes riding after the buzzer. When the buzzer clears and it's 60 seconds, the judges will no longer be adding those points to the rider's score. But look at this wall ride from Nina, so high up, utilizing that vert wall to travel the distance, quarter pipe to quarter pipe. That shows so much bike control. There was the 1 foot one-hander on one side of her bike, and there she's doing a little bit more of a disco version, putting the right hand out with the left foot. So Nina's score is going to be a 68.75. She's going to have a lot of catching up to do if she wants to get in that top spot beyond Angie Moreno. But we see 2 riders down, 10 more remain as we're working our way through heat number 1.
From New Zealand, Eli Chu right now. Ali is about to drop in for her first run, as this is the heat number 1. If you guys are just tuning in, UCI BMX Freestyle World Cup Finals for the women. Nice amplitude right there going over the box. Beautiful style and bike control as she comes back into that step up with a 1 foot can. Going into that 360 tire tap.
Ellie trying to get the distance across the box. You saw she didn't have the speed and momentum after that can, so she put her back tire down, and on that pivot point wound up losing it, jumping off the back. Now, if a rider does crash, put a foot down, and they're able to keep going, they definitely can utilize that time on the clock. But since this is a qualifier points-wise towards the Olympics, our judges' criteria is extremely strict out there. They want to see the rider really utilize the entire 60 seconds. What we actually saw towards the end of the 2018 series, the riding has progressed for men and women so far that it almost was really coming down to the last 20 seconds of the run to see what a rider had as far as endurance goes, and also making sure that they didn't put a foot down, they didn't crash. But if a rider does get up, even though this is a best run format that counts, sometimes that second score can come into play in the event of a tiebreaker and be crucial as far as their points that they would receive. So Ellie out here, let's take a look at the can, full extension. You see her utilizing her front foot right over that top tube, sticking it out all the way to the side, very clean and smooth on the can-can air. So the New Zealander waiting for her score to come in. Again, our judges are going to give that numeric value from 1 to 100. It looks like Ellie's first run with that crash is going to be a 34.50.
And moving to our fourth competitor of heat number 1, Nikita Dukaros from Geneva, Switzerland. She's coming out here for her first attempt on course in this final. Nice extension of that 1-foot cannon, tackling the start in a little bit of a different manner. As this is a freestyle discipline, you're able to enter the course on any area that you want.
Nikita Dukaros, such an exciting rider to watch. Yes, 1-foot X up the can-can. Very cool combination. She is being cheered on by her Mongoose team manager and her mom as she does that big bar spin. That was a very huge trick. We've seen Nikita really step up and push for women's BMX freestyle, and that bar spin is just showing that she's been putting a lot of time in her off-contest season. Very cool use of that capsule. Not only did she go around, she's the first rider to use it. Oh, going down hard right there on that bar spin. Thankfully, she is up on her feet. That is disappointing when a rider has a very solid first half or 2/3 of their run and then has that crash at the end. But again, because of our being a best run format counts, that means that she's going to have that opportunity to come back and get in things. But there's that can-can clean over the top tube, and right here is a no-hander. Great extension. And there's that 1-foot X up to can-can. Very cool combinations. But that bar spin was done so confidently, Ryan. The fact that she threw him around, got the hands on the grip, and had the control to come in. And I want to highlight not only the fact that she utilized that capsule, the first rider to do so on the course, but she had that alley-oop coming out over the hip, just showing that she had a lot of control and course awareness out here. This park in particular in design almost wants to set riders up in a linear fashion, and that capsule is almost a difficult feature to get to on the park because of its positioning from the box jump landing.
Moving forward to our second runs already. This is from the United States of America, San Diego. Angie Moreno dropping in. She is currently sitting on top of the board, that 74.25 score. Solid speed coming around that satellite dish and going backwards on the box. This is much more difficult as the landing you're exiting to is much steeper than that kicker takeoff. Nice toboggan right there. A 1-foot little downside coming up, gathering some speed into the step up right here.
Yeah, Angie on the step, coming back over the long box, just going to set up for some speed where she excels on those quarter pipes, putting her hand back. Getting a little bit sideways right there. I believe she might have been looking for that toboggan. Let's see if Angie can get back in the zone as she has 16 seconds to work with here.
Coming up, another nice air over that box jump. And seems like she's going for the step up again.
Oh!
Yeah, 360 on that step up, a little bit of a hang up, but holding it out right down to the buzzer there. 60 seconds may seem like a short time for you viewers at home, but this is an incredible testament to endurance of all these athletes on course. You see right there Ryan Nyquist, who's coaching the USA Cycling female BMX, and as well came off with a second place finish in his qualification yesterday. Great to see so much devotion for the sport out there, and the women just pushing forward. Beautiful spin right there on that 360.
So Angie's second run score is going to be the throwaway. The 74.25 of her first run is going to keep her standing strong in that top spot. But we talk about it being the best run format, and looking to get her second swing in the ring is going to be Nina Boo Trago. You see the USA colors proudly represented across her jersey. Nina dropping in right here, 60 seconds starting as she charges the box jump. Nina right there getting a tuck air across the box, going up the vert wall. The terrible one rider with the big nothing. Yeah, Nina. A lot is going on. The trick is called a nothing because she's taken all of her limbs off, hands and feet.
As well, utilizing the coping there and going into the channel. A big channel gap, quarter to quarter, with the wall ride in between for Nina.
I love seeing the consistency of Nina's riding out there. In order to charge that big wall ride transfer, that's such a difficult thing to do, and there's certain tricks that just show how much bike control and confidence a rider has, and Nina's definitely displaying that out here. Nina working with the final 15 seconds as she lays over a tabletop. Coming into the hip, 1 foot, one-hander. Yeah, there's the disco version. She's got 6 seconds, double peg grind, one-handed. And it looks like that is going to be time for Boo Trago as she nose bonks over the spine. Yeah, Nina.
Great action coming from another American out there on course here in Japan.
Ryan, I want to highlight 2 tricks that Nina did in her run that just shows the bike confidence and control. The nothing right there.
Great extension.
Taking all your limbs off is so difficult because you have to have that stability in the air. And the same goes for that wall ride, quarter to quarter pipe. You got to charge that, and to have the control and also to not get discombobulated or actually get afraid when you're in the wall ride, which is easy to do because you're so high up off the quarter pipes, is a hard thing. And Nina just showed that she had a lot of bike control out there. Also psyched to see her setup. She's got pegs on her bike. She's one of the only women out there. That's a choice the riders can do for their bikes. So Nina getting a 69, going to hold strong in that second spot right there. Definitely moving up the ladder as far as points goes. Not much, but definitely holding strong in that second spot.
Ali Chu is the next rider to drop right now, and she is currently sitting at the bottom with a 34.50. Nina's score came in there. She's going to hold with that 69.
So now we're going to see strategy. Ellie Chu had that crash in her first run. She knows that the pressure is on. Big toboggan. And we're going to see, does she wind up saying, hey, I'm going to totally go for it? It looks like she is with the extension of the can-can and the 360.
Yeah, getting that this time.
Because riders definitely have to play with that risk-reward ratio. How hard and difficult do they put into their run to make sure that they're able to complete their full run without a crash? But Ellie right now is definitely on one, hitting every single ramp and throwing a variation. I'm loving those turndowns.
As well, one thing you can note, you were saying about Nina's pegs, you can also notice on Ellie's bike that there is no brakes, so she is a brakeless rider going, and that makes it extra difficult if you come back from a little wheel-heavy 360 like that. She kept the speed great and has flown through the run and goes into a backflip, another incredibly difficult trick to do without a brake.
Yeah, Ellie throwing down that big flip. And Ryan, you mentioned that brake aspect because a lot of riders will utilize that back brake if they're going to loop out. You could pull that and basically pull your front end down, kind of give you a little bit of a check there. But look at this big run for the New Zealander, Ellie Chu, that toboggan, grabbing the seat, twisting the bars. That can-can was super confident out there.
Coming into this 360, she may have been a little rear wheel heavy, but she kept her speed and momentum into tricks like this turn down as well right here, that big backflip. This is the run that we were looking for from Ellie, and we're going to have to wait and see, is that going to put her on top above of Angie Moreno right now? She's sitting with that 74.25. Let's see.
Ellie down there having a great time. She did her work out on the course for the 2 runs. You can see she's just enjoying the crowd here in Peace Park in Hiroshima. Big smile under that full face helmet. You actually see Elizaveta Posadzki, who has yet to ride, in the background right there. All of our women riders being supportive of each other, having a blast out here on the FIS World Series. So Ellie's first score was definitely a throwaway of a 34.50. It's very safe to say that this second score is going to be a huge improvement of that. Question is, will it be more than a 75.25, which is currently held by Angie Moreno, our leader? You can see the judges up there as we take a look. The 5 men are determining under the watchful eye leaning on the railing. That is Bart DeJong, the UCI technical delegate. Bart definitely has had a huge impact in the history of BMX freestyle even before the Olympics started to take form. He runs the Fat BMX network out of the Netherlands, where you could find all the different contest placings, different behind the scenes stories and everything else. But Ellie coming in with the 67.25. It is not enough to move past Nina Boo Trago, so it looks like USA, and New Zealand are sitting 1, 2, and 3. But we do have another opportunity for the Swiss rider, Nikita Dugaro.
You know, we say Nikita, the Swiss rider, I believe she grew up in California in the United States, but she has decided to represent Switzerland as moving forward in this series.
Yeah,
what is that going to mean when we move to the Olympics?
So because riders are representing their countries out here and they can get different support from their countries, you can select. Nikita is actually born in Switzerland, so she has that citizenship and that rights, and she's saying, hey, you know what? I associate with my native country, my native land of Switzerland, and I'm going to go out and do Switzerland proud, which she's doing on her second run right here. We talked about how exciting it is for the Mongoose rider to charge because she's got the big tricks. We've seen in the past she puts the spins down on quarter pipes, also through the capsule, going 2 for 2 on that alley-oop. Very unique line out there.
Love to see that style pushing forward. Nikita really showing the versatility and the confidence on the BMX bike there.
So Nikita there is going to just wave things off on the final 10 seconds of her second run. So we might see that a lot with riders out there. Oh!
Going
wow.
for 540 after the buzzer. If she maybe didn't wave that off, she probably could have done that in time. I don't think this was set up in time. We're going to have to take a look back. The judges would be watching that, however.
That's what we talked about, Nikita being one of the most exciting female riders out there. Her first run was definitely bar spin heavy, and then to have that 540, I know that was after the buzzer, which is disappointing in that regard, but so exciting to just watch her riding. That 540 is such a typical trick that's doing a circle and a half on the quarter pipe and coming in. We've actually seen in previous FIS World Series from 2018 her battle that 540 in her runs. She's taken some hard slams from it, but the way that she looked on that one was super clean and consistent. If you want to see anything from the 2018 FIS World Series, go to our YouTube channel. So simple to do. YouTube, just type in FISE. There will be more content than you even know what to do with. And you know what actually will happen? Because I did this the other day. You put it on and you get psyched and you go out and ride. That's what you're going to wind up doing, because we've got highlights not only from the FIS World Series, but also from FIS Montpellier, which will be coming up later in the year. It's our second stop going down at the end of May, early beginning of April, and that is one of the biggest parties in all of BMX. You're welcome. You're invited to come out and ride. You're invited to come out and compete, and you're invited to come out and party cheering on our riders. This is for everybody. The FIS World Series is a global event that brings everybody together, celebrating action sports. So even if you're not throwing down like our women in our final today, you can get out there and cheer them on.
Yes, we were talking about this, one of the largest global events, period, not just in action sports, with over 1 million spectators, live audience members, and over 15.4 million online viewers from last year's series alone. This makes it one of the top global sporting festivals in the world, bringing action sports to a home near you. And we are live in Hiroshima, Japan. It is the World Action Sports Festival, known as the FIS World Series. This is the finals for the women's, and we are about to start heat number 2. What are our 4 amazing ladies?
We've got Chile, USA, United Kingdom, and Russia. Perez, Wolf, Worthington, and Posadsky are going to be our 4 women athletes out here. The reason they're in heat number 2, we do it in reverse order from the qualifying of yesterday. So technically, as we work through the pack, we are going to see maybe higher scores out there just because of the way that the women were able to ride the course yesterday is a little indication of what we might see today. Well, our first rider of the second heat from Santiago, we're talking about the Vans rider of Macarena Perez. Maca, as she is known, has grown up right outside of a skate park in Santiago, Parque de los Reyes. Concrete Bowl. Had an opportunity to ride with her last year down there. She has a cult following down in Santiago as being a pioneering women rider. And the fact that on the global scale, she is just bringing it. It's so exciting to see Maca here in the final. Here we go, 60 seconds starts now. Maca, big air over the spine. Pushing through that hip to get speed for a look back, twisting the bike completely sideways.
Really charging, as you can see. Macarena has a ton of speed coming through this course. Nice amplitude, Carrying it over up with that X up.
Whoa!
Wow! Tail whip air, one of the only females you're going to see on course doing that trick right there, and an incredible extension on that tuck no-hander exiting the box jump.
That was on that huge vert quarter as well. That was not a regular quarter pipe. Maka was so high when she tail whipped. We've seen Maka in the past throw down the tail whip on a 6-foot quarter, but she was definitely higher than 6 feet as she went up the NEC vert wall quarter pipe. Maka, with 15 seconds to go, there was some bike control as she carved around the capsule, blasting over the spine. Maka charging back. Oh!
Ooh, a little hang up there, 5 seconds on, she's going to be waving it. Macarena Perez really stepping up the game though as well, answering with that tail up. Let's take a look at some of the action in slow motion. Starting off with that turn down right there, that look back as well. There's the X up. She had some great extension and of course this tail whip.
Yeah, that's the highlight right there. The tail whip is when a rider kicks the back end of the bike while holding onto the handlebars, getting a full rotation around. When you do it on a quarter pipe that's vertical, basically a vert ramp or a vert wall, the difficulty goes up. But Maka actually made it look easy, dare I say, as she just got her feet cleanly back to the pedals and did it in the middle of her run, even a little bit closer to the start, which increases the difficulty because if you do crash, you're not able to basically grab up all those points within that 60-second time. But we talk about the Olympics being such a thing of perfection out here. Everybody knows it is the premier sporting event in the world, regardless of which activity or sport you're doing. So our judges want that to reflect that in our riders out here. So if you do put a foot down, if you do crash, or if you're not utilizing the entire 60 seconds, you are heavily penalized out there. And that's what we're seeing with the 62.25 out of Maka. But that's a good thing that she got such a high score, considering that she wound up waving off the final 14 seconds of her run.
Another American competitor to drop in. This is going to be Chelsea Wolf right now from Lake Park. She's getting things going here in Japan. Like you said, we had such a large turnout for the qualifications. I have yet to see Chelsea compete.
Yes, big transfer.
Oh, yes, transferring as well. Whoa, check out that Canadian nose jam on the coping right up top there.
Yeah, Chelsea, we're already seeing very unique riding, and she actually did a Ruben wall ride. That's named after our judge, Ruben Alcantara. He was one of the first riders to ever do that style wall ride where you are nosedive down. So she is maybe trying to get a few extra bonus points from Ruben out here. Opposite air into the quarter pipe, over the box. Getting that clearance on the step up. Chelsea Wolf up the vert ramp. Yo,
yeah.
Bonking that back tire on top of the coping. Talk about bike control.
Talk about some great park riding coming out of Chelsea Wolf here. This is what we're looking for. Beautiful 360, almost clicking a turn down in the middle of that, going up into the step up. Then going back for that Canadian. Jay Muron, shall we do a little encyclopedia? You tell me on that one.
Well, right there, you're calling it the Canadian nose pick because you're balancing on the coping, nose diving back in. The reason we're going to note that, because that's almost a similar position that you'd be on that Ruben Alcantara style wall ride. But look at this run, that transfer, no other rider we saw hit across that channel. Here's a look at that Canadian nose pick again. She balances right on that coping. That is a piece of pipe. It's so hard to find that spot on there. You could also see, as far as the bike concerned, the front brake is there to help with that pivot point. There is that Ruben Alcantara wall ride, the tire slide up on top of that big vert quarter, and there is the 360 looking for the turn down. Even though it wasn't clicked, that was so impressive to do in the final seconds of a run. You would normally be so winded, so tired out there, it'd be hard to clear that step up, let alone spin it, and let alone go for that turn down in the 360. That was a huge run out of Chelsea Wolf.
Yeah, great to see the sport progressing like this. Like I said previously, this was the first time that I was able to witness Chelsea Wolf compete, and I'm very excited to see her start off the World Tour here in 2019 and push for that points battle moving to Tokyo. Score coming in, it's not going to be a surprise in my opinion, 77.75, and pushes past Angie Moreno for first place. A great addition out here and a big push for female BMX. Moving into British cycling's Charlotte Worthington. She's going to start off her run.
So riders can choose wherever they want to start on the course to basically set up for their entire run. That's where the creativity in freestyle comes in.
Wow.
Yes. And we see Charlotte Worthington starting out in a double peg stall to set up for the speed for that big wall ride transfer that we saw Nina Boo Trago do earlier. Wow, big 360 out of Charlotte.
Stepping up each rider as we go down the field here. 360 on the spine. That is a big executed trick.
I had an opportunity to ride with Charlotte last summer at Woodward East in Pennsylvania, and I had an opportunity to see all of the things she was working on, like that flare. That is the backflip 180, unfortunately washing out there, but you see she's able to get right back up on the bicycle with 15 seconds to go. Big no-hander, great extension, so hard to do when you're winded after a crash like that. Worthington tabletop, let's see if she can get a final thought in as 3, 2, 1. Looking for that double peg stall on the sub box. Ryan, this is so cool to see. Not only the sport as a whole progressing, but each one of our riders out there. We're seeing Charlotte utilize her pegs more out on the course. Not only that double peg drop in, but going for that stall on top of the sub box, the 360 on the spine, and then the flare. Wow.
And that makes me think, of course, she tried to get that double peg on the sub box. I mean, it already impresses while starting off in that double peg stall, and then she tackles the course with a lot of transfers, that 360, like you said. But if she was able to land that flare, the flare we see right here, she was able to roll out of that. It makes me think if she was going to get the rest of her run, this would be a top contending run.
Ryan, with how fast things are progressing with women's BMX freestyle, each stop of the Feast World Series, it's going to be a whole nother ball game out there. We're going to see throughout the course of this just battling, changing hands back and forth in a serious points race. Charlotte doing it for British Cycling. She's being cheered on by Jamie Bestwick, who is the coach out there. He is known as one of the most accomplished BMX vert ramp riders of all time. He actually lives out in State College at Woodward Camp, where he actually brings some of the riders in and does different coaching and supporting and showing, hey, giving some tips and pointers, which I know Jamie could definitely do so with the flare out there for Charlotte Worthington. So hopefully we'll see her stick that in her second run.
So as you see, the score came in. It's going to be a 7th place for Charlotte. She'll have to definitely clean it up. But now moving forward to Russia's Elizaveta Pozdarsky.
Elizaveta, such a talented rider and also a artist. She is a tattoo artist where she is bringing her creative flair right now with an X up over the box jump. Look at the height pumping out of that vert wall. And a 360,
wow.
So smooth.
Very smooth. Perfect height, perfect rotation, not over or under, and catching that transition with a nose first.
Yeah, the landings are definitely crucial out here because it shows how confident and comfortable a rider is. It's all about the landing. If you wind up not getting the distance and hanging up, as we call it, or casing the jump, it shows that, hey, you're not as comfortable, you don't have the confidence out there, but if a rider can stick it clean like that 360, that could be big. So Elizaveta having difficulty on that spin out there. She bar spins up. Looks like she's going to wind up just trying to roll out the rest of her run and maybe pull something else technical here. Elizaveta, checking in with the wall, a quick double tire ride.
So Elizaveta, that's going to be time. Finishing things off on the course there. I believe our one Russian competing in this final today.
So look at Elizaveta, big X up. Again, that landing all the way to the top of the transition, but this 360 was definitely the crowning achievement of that run on the step up, getting that 3 coming down. Elizaveta, great 3. She's gonna have another opportunity to try to put it all together and utilize this 60 seconds for all they're worth. So Elizaveta is going to be a 41. She is sitting in 8th place as we are working through heat number 2. That means all of our riders have had one opportunity on course. We are going to re-rack the deck, go back to Santiago, Chile, and give Macarena Perez her second opportunity on the course. So Maka currently sitting in 6th place. She had that huge tail whip in her first run that she pulled very clean. And look at this, Maka pumping up the crowd here in Hiroshima as all of her fans start flooding into Peace Park. getting behind our women BMX freestyle riders. Maka looking back over the hip, so it looks like she's going to stick with a similar strategy as far as her course run in the start of things. X up, flying up. Let's see on this vert quarter, does she go for it again? Yes! 2 for 2 on the tail whip. Serving them hot and fresh, going for that no-hander.
And just going a little too far on that tuck, but holding things together, saving herself from a very heavy crash right there. Macarena Perez, unfortunately, going to have to wave off this second run. That's a disappointment as she was sitting in 6th place and definitely want to improve her score and clean up some of those rough edges from run number 1. Taking a replay at some of the highlights still, she got off another beautiful tail whip right there on that quarter pipe.
Yeah, that is definitely disappointing to see she wasn't able to get her full pull on the second run, but I do want to highlight the consistency of the tail whip. Both times those were in the middle of her runs, and Maka just putting her feet to the pedal. So it's interesting to see so far as we work our way through the finals, even if a rider doesn't necessarily get their whole rundown like we saw with Charlotte Worthington, or in this case Macarena Perez, we're seeing the consistency on some of their bigger tricks out there.
Yes.
So as we work through the season and the riders have more time in competition, more experience comes in, knowing how to handle the pressure, put their runs together, we're going to start to just see different gameplays go, and as far as the points will wind up faring throughout the course of our season. So Maka's second score will be that throwaway. The 6.2.25 is going to be her best performance of her 2 runs.
And the lady sitting in the hot seat right now, this is Chelsea Wolf out there. We just saw her pull together a great performance, and she is sitting in 1st place right now. Let's see if she can defend that or improve it.
Chelsea Wolf this time is starting things off, jumping in and getting that transfer, 2 for 2, and a toboggan up onto her elevated stage, right into that Canadian nose pick. So cool to see that front brake, the only woman rider so far in the contest that has the front brake, and 2 for 2 on that Rubin wall ride. So difficult to do because you have to have your body weight going down in a nosedive and make sure you pull off the wall and not hit your front wheel into the coping. We are seeing a very confident Chelsea Wolf charge commandingly through our course here in Hiroshima, as there is a can-can on the step up. Look at the power as well. There's not any fatigue out there as she's working with 11 seconds to go, and these are going to be crucial. Come on, Chelsea.
You can really see she's coming from a park background. Let's see, does she have it here? Yes! 360 turn down. That is a huge one. Stepping it up, getting the click on that, and finishing things off, going for that Canadian nose pick and ending in a disaster right there. Chelsea Wolf, everyone, for her second pull.
Wow, Chelsea Wolf is going to have a lot of riders talking about their second run. The confidence out there, you know, I keep talking about that, but it's just the bike control that you see for the GT rider. Look at that. No one else utilized that transfer up onto the elevated stage. Right there, you see that knack kick in the back end into the Rubin wall ride. But the confidence level when Chelsea winds up landing a quarter pipe and then just charges with the speed, keeping the momentum. And the 360 turn down was so big and such a great trick because, again, we talked about the landing and able to spot it and just stick it clean with all the body weight coming down and pumping into it. I have a feeling that seeing Chelsea out here is going to definitely be a game changer for women's BMX freestyle because of that confidence, because of the endurance. So it looks like the score is going to be the 77.75. I believe that was Chelsea's first run that's going to be in there.
Yes, so that's going to be her first run holding. There may be a bit more amplitude, or maybe the judges saw some better flow coming out of that for run number 1. But now moving forward, regardless, to Charlotte Worthington, British cycling athlete, starting with that double peg drop in and getting that big transfer from that speed jump.
Yes, so it looks like Charlotte Worthington is going to stick with what she knows as far as the run format goes on the course, spotting her lines. Let's see, tabletop. This is what she had in the first run in a very smooth 360. That is a 6-foot spine with a 6-inch deck on top. Charlotte over the hip. Let's see. There's that foot plant. This is getting close to where she had difficulty in her first run. Does she go for the flare or does she change her approach? Oh!
Really put putting it all on the line right there. That's what we're talking about, going for broke. Charlotte was definitely going for the improvement and wanting to stick that flare there, but just under rotating a little bit. However, she's still pulling the rest of her run. A great 360 right there.
Wow, that is disappointing on the flare. So we talk about riders taking their approach out here, looking for that double peg, pulling it back in, definitely jumping down on the deck. We talk about riders' approach on the course. It's a strategy game out there. You got this 60 seconds. Charlotte had that crash in her first run. She technically could have said, you know what, I'm going to skip the flare because I don't have it fully dialed yet and wind up holding that off for the next contest. But I got to give Charlotte the respect. She said, hey, I've got my game plan. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to try to get this flare down. She wasn't able to get it cleanly and roll away. We take a look. She wound up getting a little bit under rotation and not getting her weight over her right shoulder to drop in confidently to pump into the transition. So she wound up sliding out a little bit. But I give a lot of respect to Charlotte going for the flare. She could have just pulled back if she wanted to and just really pulled down the difficulty level and put a higher score up on the board. But big props for Charlotte.
Yeah, all the respect goes out to Charlotte. She saw the disappointment in her face. Score coming in is going to be that 61-62, so not going to be an improvement for Charlotte. Now moving forward to Russia's Elizaveta Postaski. She's going to get her second run underway. She is sitting right now in 8th position with a 41-0. She definitely wants to improve on that score. Clean up in this second run. Look at the extension and just holding that X up over that box right there.
Yeah, that was awesome. What?
Was that a truck driver? 360 bar spin. That is a huge trick. And Elizaveta means business on course today.
That was a huge trick out there. 360 with the bar spin out of Elizaveta.
Wow, and going back into that step up with the tuck no-hander. She's charging out there. Let's see what she has coming down again into the box jump. 360 onto the deck right there, really pulling out all the stops, having a nice wall tap and showing you how she qualified.
Elizaveta, 10 seconds to work with, coming back, X up.
Really pushing it. It's a lot of endurance for the athletes out there. The 1 minute of complete focus and determination getting through the course here, and that's going to do it for the second run of the Russian.
Wow, what a great run out of Elizaveta. You talked about that X up, her first hit that she did. You know, that is a staple kind of core foundation trick of BMX, but Elizaveta holding it the entire duration of her air right here. Look at this right there, just clicking it, holding it, looking rad. But this was what it is all about. The 360 with the bar spin, known as the truck driver. That was a really difficult trick for a rider to do because you're putting together two different elements. And to have that clean landing like Elizaveta did, right there making Russia very proud.
Wow, some beautiful stuff coming out of Elizaveta, and it's going to be interesting to see, of course, Chelsea Wolfe on top with that 77.75. We're going to have to see if Elizaveta can go from 8th place and improve her score. I definitely believe she's going to improve it, but I wonder where she's going to line up. If she wants to push into that podium contention, Nikita Dukaros is holding that 3rd place spot with a 73.50. Scores coming in, it's not going to be enough to push out Dukaros, but good enough for 4th place, pushing Nina Boo Trago into 5th right there. So Elizaveta Podaski with a 72.75 right now.
So we are working through our heats of riders as we are looking at some highlights.
From heat number 2 right here.
There was
Macarena
that
Perez.
tail whip. Yeah, this is so exciting to see, Ryan. Real-time progression, women's BMX freestyle. Chelsea Wolfe, our current leader out here, just dominating through the course.
Really impressing me with her first run. I'd never seen her, I mean, just incredible park abilities. You see that she's so confident out there on the bike. This was first run. She didn't get that 360 turn down. We'll get a look at that from second run, but moving forward to British Cycling's Charlotte right here with that 360 over the spine. Incredible and just would have loved to see her land that flare. It would have been a top contending run, so disappointment right there. Moving forward to Elizavetta's first run here. And as we're moving now, didn't get enough time to see the second runs, but you see a beautiful view of our park course sculpted by Hurricane Parks here in Japan. They're working so hard to bring a course to each and every country on the World Tour, but moving to heat number 3 right now, we have Oki Minoto, Laura Lessman, Paris Menendez, and Hana Roberts. 2 Americans, a German, and the top Japanese rider competing out here in Japan. This is going to be Oiki Minoto going to start her first run here in front of, let's say, her home crowd.
And you could feel that warm reception here as Peace Park is erupting with support for the Japanese rider. We saw a huge season last year for Oiki Minoto, where she actually took first place at the Montpellier stop on the FIS World Series. So she has what it takes as far as the tricks and style goes. In terms of the entire season, she finished 4th overall in ranking. I know that she's very focused and wants to be up on top, and if she can put a big score together in front of her home crowd of Japan, that would be very cool. We talk about for the Olympics, the host country having 2 spots that would be welcomed in, one for men and one for women's. And right now it looks like Oiki Minoto is definitely a top contender for a potential Olympic athlete. Right now, 11 seconds into her run as Oiki Minoto goes up the vert wall, charging back at us.
Coming here into the box jump. Wow, look at that turn down. Incredible extension on that click.
And the height on the wall ride right there. We actually are seeing Minoto go way higher than she did in the 2018 season, and that just comes down to the bike control.
So great utilization as well of the park. You can see Oiki is using every inch of it, not just hitting box jump to spine, box jump to step up, but utilizing all different features, hitting the hips, getting some technical tricks here, but now being able to go back for one more pull on that box jump and a backflip with 4 seconds to go. That's going to finish things off for Oiki Minoto from Japan. Not sure if that bar spin is going to count. She was setting up. UCI rules state that the rider has to be on the ramp setting up for the trick before time goes. Our delegate, Bar Jiang, will be checking that out in replays up for the judges, but a great pull for the Japanese athlete.
Ryan, I want to say the biggest thing that we're seeing as far as the progression of women's riding is beyond the tricks. It's the bike control and body positioning out here. We're seeing Minoto charge the course, almost looking like a completely different rider from last year, just through the confidence, even in that wall ride or the body position on that turn down. You can just see the control and almost to the top of the coping on that wall. It's a different level as far as bike control, confidence, and putting the two together for that equation of her run out here.
That's an incredibly vital aspect that you have said there, Daryl, is bike control is so much more important, in my opinion, than tricks. If you watch the progression of action sports throughout the many decades we've been doing this, the one thing that you can consistently see is whoever can figure out bike control will have the ability to stay on top and get those tricks. They come easier, they just come more authentically, and you see that style accentuate within the riding. So great to see all the bike control coming to all these female athletes. The tricks are going to come as well, but such incredible progression on all scales of freestyle. And Oiki Minoto really delivering a top-class performance, an 81.75, a huge score out there for the Japanese rider.
Well, we talk about bike control, and 3 of our women athletes who have yet to take the course have definitely shown a lot of that in 2018, and the fact that they were our top qualifiers means that they've got a lot more of it to show here in our final.
Wow.
No-footed can-can transfer on the step down. Laura Lessman with a big bar spin.
Wow, that was some start.
The German rider ripping around the course, blasting big over that box jump. A lot of height and a foot planted can off the wall. Laura Lessman, Germany, bar spin over the spine. This is so rad to see her run out here. Just putting the tricks down on the spine in both directions.
Laura really showing us why she's that third place qualifier, answering with so much poise out there on course. Transfer right there, and just incredible bike control like you said, but holding speed the whole way through. 10 seconds left and she's still charging with full transfers like that.
Laura Lessman had a big 2018 season. She actually finished second overall for the year, just behind Hana Roberts, and she actually won our last stop at Chengdu. So Laura Lessman's got a lot to prove out here. She wants to be on top spot of that podium, and we're actually going to see our last three riders, including Laura, super competitive out on the course, not only with the other riders out there, but also with themselves. They demand a lot, they're pushing their riding, and they're going to uncharted territory for women's BMX freestyle. Such an exciting thing to have, and the fact that we're going towards Tokyo 2020 Olympics, and we're seeing the real-time progression of women's freestyle, it's such an exciting time. So the score to beat is the 81.75. The question is, will Laura Lessman's no-footed can-can transfer, her bar spins over the spine, and also that step be enough to bring her up into that top spot?
Some incredible work being done from the German rider right there. Oikin Minoto, you see on screen, that's a score to beat. Just came down with an 81.75 as well. Chelsea Wolf with a great score, 77.75, and Angie Moreno as well in the 70s. Let's see where the German is going to go. Wow, and it's going to be a new leader. Laura Lessman pushes an 84.12 into first place.
Things are really heating up out here as we have two more riders remain. Our next rider for the USA, you can see the coveted rainbow jersey that she is wearing. That is because she got first place at the UCI BMX Urban Cycling Championships in November last year. This is the one, the only, Paris Menendez dropping in. Oh,
wow,
big air.
Look at the height coming out of Paris and getting a channel gap right there.
Paris's riding definitely focuses more on speed and style, as we are seeing her put them two together to get that big wall ride transfer. No other rider has gone quarter to quarter on the elevated portion of our course.
No, I was just going to note, this is, maybe you saw the channel gaps with a few other athletes, but this is a different way tackling the course as well. Going into the box jump there, she's really hitting different points for the judges.
You can just see Paris control the course as she carves around the capsule, transfer up with that toboggan. Paris doing it for Cult BMX and BMX women around the world. Proudly representing that USA rainbow jersey. The rider that wins the World Championships is the only rider that gets that jersey for the year, and it's an honor to wear it in competition, and Paris is showing you that with that can-can over that step. Wow, big run for Paris Menendez. Paris is definitely a fierce competitor. Some say that she is hardest on herself because she just demands a lot from herself, and you can see that with that tabletop hip, laying it over. Unofficially the highest air we've seen out of any woman rider so far in the contest, can over that top tube.
This makes it a difficult position if you're in one of those judging spots right now. As we have seen someone like Laura Lessman go out, and she tackled with great amplitude, speed, and difficulty. Her tricks were miles higher than Paris Menendez, let's say. So it comes into this difficult situation of freestyle. How do the judges really assess a situation?
Yeah, Ryan, because beyond the tricks, it's about that bike control we keep talking about and how a rider can confidently charge the course. To do that transfer quarter to quarter, wall riding on the vert wall in the elevated portion of the course, you gotta have that bike control to get the speed to get up there. Not any rider can do that. So that's what separates Paris maybe from some of the other riders that we saw, like Elizaveta Posadzki go for that truck driver, which is the 360 bar spin, or Charlotte Worthington's flare attempt, or Macarena Perez's tail whip attempt. So we're seeing all the different elements and styles of riding, and that flow, speed, and putting it together worked extremely well for Perez last year, and it looks like that formula is definitely going to be a successful one here with an 83.75. So USA is going to be sitting in second place just behind Germany, followed by Japan of Minato Oiki. But we are not done yet. One rider remains, and this rider is known as your 2016, 17, and 18 FIS World Series champion. This is Hana Roberts. Hana has been the premier pusher for BMX women's freestyle for the last 5 years, doing some never done before tricks, including the bar spins, flares.
Whoa! Oh, that's an upset for Hana Roberts. Pushing a bit too high on that wall. I don't think she was expecting to do a tire slide. Oh, and that was a really unexpected crash coming for Hana Roberts. Our youngest competitor at 17 years young on course. We have great medical staff out there going to be able to take care of her, but that was a very unexpected crash, I believe, for Hana. She didn't realize that her rear wheel was past coping. You see, she had so much height coming out of that bar spin and pushing up into this quarter pipe. Oh, and just tweaking that arm right there.
We're going to give Hana some time to get checked out on the course and get a breather. Hana is one of the toughest riders out there. We've actually seen through the last few seasons her take some very difficult crashes, and to the amazement of everybody, gets back up. I'm hoping that's the same scenario right here, but you talked about her back wheel catching on top of that vert quarter pipe. She had a lot of momentum coming in, maybe a little bit too much speed, and when a rider's tire hits up there, oh, this is great news. Hana Roberts getting back up. You see her down there with Trish Bear from Bear Sports Essentials, walking her off the course. I hope that she will be okay. I doubt she'll be able to ride in her second run, but we're going to put the energy out there. She is a superwoman. We've seen her do things before that are beyond amazement. So Hana, unfortunately, going down. We're sending you our positive thoughts and energy, and we're hoping that she's okay. It's a very high quarter pipe to wind up having that crash on.
Wow, so that's some incredible news, actually. We're crossing our fingers, and hopefully Hana Roberts will pull in her superwoman strength and come out for the second run. But right now, we're going back up to Oiki Minoto, who is the first rider to push out Chelsea Wolfe from that hot seat position, but has since then been pushed down twice into third place. This is none other than your local talent, Oiki Minoto, about to drop in for her second run here. The FIS World Series 2019, the UCI BMX Freestyle World Cup Women's Final. Dropping in, great extension on that tuck no-hander, throwing those hands high up and high up on that wall as well.
That no-hander was awesome. The height was there as Japan being represented by Minato Oiki coming in. Now let's see what she's got over the big box jump. A huge turn down and a tire ride right on top of that vert wall, on that wall ride, hitting almost by the coping. Tire grabbed the tabletop. Let's see it working halfway through the run at 25 seconds to go. These are the crucial ones. I like seeing the height that Minato is doing, just pulling up for all it's worth over that hip. Jumping our step up on the catwalk elevated feature of the course.
Oh, and unfortunately, that's an upset for Oiki Minoto.
We're seeing Minato right there exit the course. Maybe a little bit disappointed that it didn't go her way, but that no-hander definitely did go her way out there. That was a huge extension. Again, I'm just gonna bring it up with an exclamation point. Put a highlighter on it. Look at the body position of Minato out there, just blasting confidently. This is a different rider we're seeing out there. Maybe she wanted to try something at the end of her run. So much of this is an internal struggle when you're out there because you've got to put it all on the line. We're seeing riders do very difficult tricks, and you saw in the firsthand experience with Hana Roberts, you can get hurt, you can crash, and you can go down. So even if you see a rider's reaction that might be a little bit strong out there like Minato's, it's because there's so much passion behind it. And we know that the riders are putting their all out there. And when you're riding that raw and you're out there, definitely emotions can be up in the air.
Laura Lessman, this is your current leader right now from Germany, an 84.12 dominating performance out of her first run. Big smile on her face. She's about to get that clock started. She's ready to drop in for run number 2 here. Like I said, holding that leaderboard. Only 2 other riders who are able to push her out after this second run. Let's see if she can improve that score and gain a bit of momentum on that lead. How's it going to go? Laura Lessman from Germany dropping in here in Hiroshima, Japan.
Laura keeping things the same with her first hit, that no-foot can-can step-down transfer. If a rider does the same run 2 times in a row, they're not penalized because it's the best run format that counts. I believe she wound up doing a pedal flip right there over that long and low. Boxing a great combination, the X up to turn down. 1 foot to can-can stepping through,
and
slipping a pedal right there.
Just pushing back, and she's going to wave it off. She knows her first run held higher than that one. So with that little bobble in there coming off the wall ride, that's all it takes for an athlete to miss the points that they know they need to stay on top of the board. But right now, Laura is sitting in that comfortable position, but only 1 point out from Perez, who is about to drop after her. Let's take a highlight look. You just saw that beautiful no-foot can transfer and that bar spin on the step up.
There was that pedal flip. You see her utilizing that freewheel in the back, kicking the pedals around on the crank arms and able to spot her feet very cleanly up there. And there was that turn down with the X up. Very cool out of Laura Lessman, but as you said, she wasn't able to finish and complete her whole second run. So that first will definitely be the one to stick. She is sitting in that top spot with that 84.12. And as you look on the board right there, there are 2 riders' names who are highlighted who have yet to go, Hana Roberts being one of them. I don't believe we're going to see her back in competition. So that means that there is only 1 rider potentially standing in the way of Laura Lessman taking that top spot out here. And that rider's name is for Team USA. She is wearing the UCI rainbow jersey, meaning that she got first place last year at the UCI Urban Cycling World Championships. This is the one, the only, Perez Menendez. We can see Perez right now taking a moment to get her composure, dropping in as the 60 seconds ticks down with a big boosting air on that tabletop. Perez hitting the wall ride transfer, going into her elevated portion. Let's see if she could do it again. Yes!
Yes, getting that transfer, showing why she is rocking the rainbow jersey right there. Huge amplitude. Like I said, tackling with so much speed. Her riding really accentuates the fast movements going around this park.
That rainbow jersey goes to the UCI World Champion. That is in every UCI cycling event, and it is the biggest honor in any cycling event to have that throughout the course of the season, where a rider can show, hey, I am world champ. I mean business, and I'm going to bring it, and that's what Perez is doing with 15 seconds to go. Turn down over the spine ramp. Perez with another tabletop. The style is what Perez is serving up, as she has 5 seconds high on the vert wall, charging, putting the pedals on. Where's she going, Ryan? Transfer up.
Whoa, big style right there, and that's going to do it to the buzzer.
Wow, that jump will be after the buzzer, but to get that step-up transfer, the only rider we've seen do that on the course. You are tired, you are winded, but you are not Perez Menendez, because she had the endurance to get it done jumping up high. Look at the tabletop, laying things over. I'm going to say unofficially the highest air we've seen so far in all of competition for Menendez. Getting that X up, flying up. Here is the turn down, twisting things to the side. And she was able to sneak in that tabletop afterwards. And there is that long and low transfer step up that Menendez got in the final moments of her second run. So the score being held strong by was the first run from Laura Lessman. Germany has an 84.12. Menendez is sitting in second place after her first run of an 83.75. We just witnessed a solid second run for Menendez. Will it be enough to move her up past Laura Lessman? Can USA dominate Germany out here to get a big chunk of the points as we move towards Tokyo 2020 Olympics? You can feel the tension here in Peace Park as it is all down to this moment right here.
All she needs is to improve by less than 1 point. Move past that 84.12 of Laura Lessman. Anticipation awaits to see, and no, it's going to be an improvement, but not enough. 84 even. Just 0.12 behind Laura Lessman, but not enough for an improvement in position.
Whoa,
as we have
what?
Hana Roberts back up after that horrific crash in her first run.
Are you kidding me? We were just about to write this in the history books, and we've got our defending champion, Hana Roberts, doing it for Team USA, coming back after a very hard crash.
Hana is the only athlete out here to be able to change up the leaderboard and that podium, getting the wall ride where it took her out. Wow, 360 tuck, no hander, Hana Roberts. She holds on to a run like this. It's definitely going to change that podium position.
Hana Roberts coming back strong with the bar spin on that step down transfer. And a flare!
And a flare!
What?
One of the biggest tricks we've seen in competition today. Hana Roberts not only comes back, but has superhuman strength and nails a huge tail whip air into a phenomenal 360 over the spine, riding unchained right here.
Hana Roberts pouring it on as she does a tail whip over the step up. This is an enormous run for Hana Roberts, coming back after that crash with the bar spin transfer.
Wow, and it's not done. 10 seconds on the clock, enough time for 2 more jumps here for Hana Roberts. This is going to be it with a bar spin on the step up. Hana Roberts comes back and dominates when all the pressure was on her shoulders. She delivered out here in the Hiroshima sun, and now it is just up to the judges on top.
Maximum respect to Hana Roberts, coming back with a phenomenal run out there. One of the best we have seen. That is such an emotional moment here in Peace Park for Hana Roberts. You actually see Minato Oiki, our Japanese rider, coming out along with Laura Lessman, showing their respect to Hana Roberts, having that horrific crash so hard we basically wrote her out from taking her second run because of the crash being that brutal. Comes back and just does a huge run. This is going to be a big moment for Roberts. We're going to see what her score is going to be, but she had the flare coming in the transition. She had the tail whips. This was huge, Ryan.
Absolutely incredible performance, and like we said, coming back after a crash like that, it's not only physically demanding, but this is such an emotional charge, and she knows that she has to deliver right here, coming off with such high anticipation, being your first place semi-finalist moving into this final. It's the start of the FIS World Series, but as well, it's such an incredible delivered performance for the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. All the points are going to count towards this, and we're going to have to wait and just see what the judges deliver. A first place performance for Hana Roberts, a 91.25, pushes the German into second place, and that is going to do it. We've called it out here in Hiroshima. The United States rider, Hana Roberts, has come out, and when all the pressure was on her shoulders, delivered into first place.
Hana Roberts showing you why she was our FIS World Series champion for the last 3 years in a row. The champion out here, bringing it when it counts. What a very special moment there, Ryan. Went down so hard. Everybody here in Peace Park was feeling for her emotionally. Very hard crash, hoping that she was okay. And I can't believe that we just witnessed Hana come back and not only take her second run, but having the best run that we've seen all day.
Wow, such a phenomenal performance from all our female athletes out here in Hiroshima. Just couldn't have written the script any better than this. Hana Roberts right there on top. You see our incredible list of 12 competitors. Laura Lessman holding strong right to the end there. And then Paris Menendez in third place. Oiki Minoto, fourth place, our Japanese competitor. Chelsea Wolf, Angie Moreno, sixth. Nikita Dukaros, Raizaveta Podaski, Nina Boo Trago, Ali Chu, Macarena Perez, and Charlotte Worthington finishing off our female competitors. Those were the top 12 in freestyle BMX. An absolutely incredible finish. Like we said, couldn't have scripted that one better. Huge ups go out to Hana Roberts from USA Cycling for coming out and delivering such an incredible performance. Just an amazing contest, Daryl.
Yeah, that was unbelievable to see. Not only the fact we had 40 women competing in BMX freestyle, not only that we're seeing in real time the progression of women's BMX, but Hana Roberts coming out. You couldn't write that in a storybook right there. So much heart and coming out with the big tricks right there. Hana, you really are the Feast World Series champion, and it's so great seeing you out here. But much respect to all of our women riders pushing things into 2019.
But hey, it was all down to that one run from Hana Roberts. She delivered underperformance. Let's take a look back and see how she got on top with that 91 performance today. Check it out right here. We said it was all onto this one run. She crashed really hard in her first run right here. Ended up tagging that coping and spun out. But hey, put it back. An incredible 360 tuck no-hander right there. And that set the bar for run number 2.
We are basically witnessing Hana's entire BMX career come together in one run as she has all the tricks smoothly executed. Like that backflip 180 flare. She also had that 360 no-hander. The bar spins. Let's see it. She gets halfway through the tail whip to pedals right into the 360. I mean, this was a highlight reel exactly from Hana Roberts. Not only here, she could be winded, she could be hurt from her crash, but she has the tail whip on the step up, showing that she's got the endurance and able to keep the cadence up as she works through the final 10 seconds.
Yes, we talk about those final moments of the run, and she's still delivering performances, getting speed for that tuck no-hander over the box jump, and finishing it off with a nice, strong bar spin. We're talking about poise. We're talking about physical determination, mental fatigue coming off of that first run crash, and just incredible world-class performance, and showing us why these athletes are out there competing for top honors for 2020 Tokyo. It's an amazing event.
Yeah, we're like speechless up here. I know you guys are at home as well. To see throughout the years of the Feast World Series, Hana and all of her women riders putting it together, crashing on flares, bar spins, tail whips, and then a run where Hana basically says, hey, I've been working on this, I've been working on this, and I've been working on this, and I'm going to put the crash out of my mind. That was such a special moment.
And just such an incredible moment out here in Hiroshima today for women's BMX. Like we had mentioned in the past, it was the largest turnout that we had for women's BMX freestyle, and we are so excited to see where this goes for the next year to come. We have a lot of events coming up, though. Let's take a look and see what action is coming your way today. We just finished up with the female finals, but at 12:30 we have the UCI BMX Flatland World Cup men's finals. Moving forward into the FWS Roller Freestyle Park World Cups, and at 16:40 the UCI BMX Freestyle Park men's final. The show happening under the lights out here in Hiroshima. It is the last and final day out here for us in Japan, but we are not ending off the world tour. We have still 2 more spots going. That's going to be Montpellier and Chengdu, China. But make sure you guys check us out, fees.fr/English. You can get all the information there. We have as well a European series started. That's going to start off with, this is going to start up in Spain, pardon me. But hey, that's enough information for us right here. You want to check it out online, go and figure out those spots. We have the ladies ready for a podium down on site. Let's take it down to Catfish.
You want to talk about excitement? That was one of the most exciting finals we have seen in BMX in a very long time. And now it is an honor to announce your 3 podium finishers here in Hiroshima. In third place, doing it for the United States of America, Paris Menendez! In second place, riding for Team Germany, Laura Lessman.
昨年の最終戦に続いての優勝ということになりました。優勝ということになりましたね。これで5戦連続優勝ですよ。常にポディウムに乗るということになります。ララです。
And you want to talk about a storybook ending, a nail biter, rising to the occasion after crashing her first run. Your #1 spot representing USA Cycling, Hana Roberts!
Hana Roberts! セカンドランに 91.25 最高ポイントをマーク。優勝を決めました。おめでとう。
Oh my God! Hiroshima, these are your champions!
トロフィー、そしてプライズマネーボードを掲げる3選手に大きな拍手をもう一度お願いします。
Oh my God! The most important one for my Instagram story. Congratulations, ladies.
We're done.
Yep. All right. We gotta have a little chit chat with you. All right, Hana Roberts. What a finish. Talk to me about what was going through your mind before your second run.
You know, I fell on the first run and I was a little, you know, I was kind of confused on what happened, but I just wanted to get back in the mindset. I was watching everybody else's runs and they were all killing it, and it kind of got me really pumped for it. So I just forgot that I fell and it really worked out.
What happened with the crash?
I tried to push in the vert wall, but I guess I went a little too high and my tire just went bye-bye.
Well, you've been working incredibly hard. You've been training with the U.S. team all over the States. What does this feel like to walk away with a victory at the first major contest of the year?
The first part of this year has been ridiculous for me. I was doing a lot of rehab, trying to get my body in shape, and then I really was pushing. So to win this, it was just an amazing feeling, and I couldn't be happier.
Well, you killed it. You put on quite the show. We can't wait to see you in Montpellier. Ladies and gentlemen, your Hiroshima champion, Hana Roberts!
Well, there you go. That's Hana Roberts' start. And she said, you know, watching the other riders as well gave her that energy, gave us energy as well to see her deliver that performance. We've been talking about it as we were able to watch that podium, just an incredible round of athleticism from all the competitors out there today.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we're talking so engaged about our women's freestyle is so exciting. Chelsea Wolfe, Paris Menendez, Laura Lessman, and Hana Roberts. What a final out there.
Well, that was the final for Japan, but we have some big stuff coming your way. Let's take it back to Montpellier, France, where the feast started.
Welcome to one of the most beautiful places in the world.
Hundreds of thousands of fans that are pouring into Montpellier. Yes, I did say hundreds of thousands. This is the big show.
Basically Montpellier!
That was a double backflip transfer. That is insane.
The largest action sports festival in
Talk
the world.
about excitement. Montpellier just gets me all those goosebumps inside. I'm so excited to be able to say that we are going back there. Of course, it's just such an incredible event.
Yeah, Ryan. We watch these trailers here and just bug out that we're going to be there. And I know all of our riders at home saw one thing in that trailer that stood out to you. BMX Dirt. That's right. We're bringing BMX Dirt back to Montpellier. That's going to be exciting. So if you're a dirt rider, get out to the party. Cheer on our riders, or better yet, bring your bike, bring your gear, because we want to be calling and announcing your runs out in Montpellier.
That is the reason that I personally got into action sports, and I'm so excited to hear that news that dirt is coming back your way. But If you guys are not able to make it out to Montpellier, make sure you guys follow us on all our channels. Social media, we got you on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Go to YouTube. Daryl was talking about that before. You just have to type in FISE into the search bar, and you guys got all this incredible content that gets you psyched. If that doesn't get you psyched enough to ride, maybe it gets you psyched to come out and join us in Montpellier. You have the beautiful southern French sun on your back. And we are there cheering you guys on with the largest action sports and the most amount of competitors. Just the incredible atmosphere out there. On behalf of everyone out here at the FES, thank you for female UCI Freestyle BMX, Ryan Meyer, Daryl Now. Thank you, and see you next time. Welcome everybody, the FES World Series Hiroshima 2019. First stop of this 3-part World Series.